Hey, g'day scrappers. Believe it or not, it's another scrap marathon, second in a row. I just got to keep processing hard, and right now I've made good inroads in the servers. So now I'm going to get onto the dozens and dozens of switches that I've got, and yeah. And well, not just switches. I think this marathon will be a bit of everything. Probably even be a couple of servers in there as well, because I've still got servers and I've still got to get rid of them. Next week, my board buy is coming, and by the time this video is on, it'll probably be the same week anyway. So okay, well. Okay, this switch doesn't look like a great deal. It's a Juniper SRX 650, but it looks like it's going to be reasonably simple enough, because one of the board modules is right at the front, and so it's got a steel plate on it. We've got to remove it from the plate, and it's really a crappy board. It does have BGA there, nothing spectacular. It's only going to go as probably a mid-grade board, maybe if I remove the heat sinks, but no, this is just a mid-grade board after I take off the plates. So not a great deal of value in that one. So far we can't see a great deal here. So yeah, I've still flat out, like, it's kind of silly in a way, because I'm trying to slow down. I'm not even advertising, but I'm still getting, you know, my regular callers and the oddball new caller. So it's still coming, and I kind of want to yeah, have a real big break. Like, I don't want to go anywhere on holiday or anything like that. Like a month off where I'm not doing any kind of pickups or anything like that, and yeah, it just seems like a holiday. Not really sure. Yeah, there's not a great deal to it. A backplane board here is probably going to be pretty awkward to get out, but once again, just another module here, and okay, well that's a bit nicer. I'm gonna have to remove this big heatsink here. That's just way too big to leave on a circuit board. Okay, and it's a copper alley heatsink, so you know, at least we're getting good money for it. We just have to remove the little screws, and yeah, most of the weight, 90% of the weight, is in the copper. And there's our board. Only one little half ram stick, so not a great deal there, but once again it's on a steel plate, so I've got to remove the steel plate. I can get away with leaving this on, and it's going to be a high grade board once we remove it from the base. Okay, so you know what, to be honest, everything else, it's not going to be worth trying to get this backplane board out. It's really awkward, so I'm just going to leave this. This is the Juniper, and I'm not going to be able to fit any scrap metal inside, so we're just going to leave it at this and get rid of it. And clean off this plate. We can put this plate back in. virtually every pickup that I do, I'm picking up switches. So it's yeah, heaps and heaps of them at the moment. Well, there you go. Got a couple of gold band crystals that I can pinch, and yeah, we can put this into a high grade board. And this one, unfortunately, it's just going to be a mid grade board, or in the States it'll go as a peripheral board. Okay, and there we have it. Just a lot of dead weight, heaps of dead weight. Happy to get mid-grade board for it here in Australia. These can just slot back in just like they were. Same as this one on the back, just to reduce the amount of scrap steel pieces that we've got. Put it all compact into one item. So there we go. That was the Juniper. What was it? SRX 650. Nothing spectacular, but you know, at least we did get good weight. And we did get a good hard high grade board, so happy with that. All right, let's continue this marathon. Don't know what it's going to end up as, but yeah, we'll just plod along and kill a couple of hours maybe, and yeah, see how we go. Okay, well, oh, this one's a really heavy one. It's a Cisco 2900 series. And obviously the most common switches are Cisco's, well, for me anyway. I'd say 80% of switches are all Cisco, probably even more. All right, just got to work out what we can get. Looks like a lot of it's out the back here. There's some okay, so we got hard drives from the back. How's that? And 600 gig hard drive, so nothing really to write home about. Okay, there's a little card, nice little card, gold band for me, and then it's just a mid-grade board. Still good. We'll take whatever they give us. Just blanks there, and then we've got a main module here. Okay, wow. So it's, yeah, another hard drive, and then a board that, yeah, it looks like the main motherboard. You got 2 RAM sticks here, huge heatsink, cleaned that up, nice extruded aluminium, good weight. CPU. Wow, interesting. Couple of hard drives, so 3 hard drives so far. Not bad. Yeah, like I said, they're 600 gigabyte SAS drives. Got to take off the brackets obviously to sell it as a hard drive. But yeah, like, don't know if that's going to do much, but well, it's a Cisco, but at least it's got Phillips screws as opposed to, you know, flat blade screws. So we'll take out our couple of RAM sticks. Always a bonus to get RAM sticks out of switches. They're only 1 gigabyte sticks. So obviously, you know, for scrap laptops, or sorry, scrap RAM sticks. CPU, again, scrap CPU. All adds up. We'll take it. Not sure how the rest comes out. Well, we just keep removing screws. Sort of weird, but yeah, this is just going to go in as a regular motherboard. Okay, 1 socket CPU and a high grade motherboard, but it's still a motherboard. I'm not going to bother trying to, you know, squeeze it into high grade or anything like that. Yeah, it's probably close, but you know, sometimes you got to give your board buyer a little bit and not trying to squeeze every possible value. It's, yeah, like I said, it's pretty much a regular motherboard. Well, a little bit higher than a regular motherboard, but hey, it balances out. Here in Australia, we don't go by different motherboards apart from dual socket and single socket. So a dual socket would go as a server board, a single as a regular PC motherboard, but we don't go by the colors or the vintage or anything like that. It's just straightforward. Motherboards are motherboards. Too complicated to go any other way, and I dare say eventually the board buyers in the US are going to just call them motherboards, because the amount of old school motherboards that are going to come in, you know, it's just going to be so minimal. Yeah, so I dare say eventually, you know, motherboards are motherboards, because 95% or more motherboards are just going to be your regular modern day stuff, which is nothing that spectacular anyway. Okay, so got some nice chunky extruded aluminium pieces here. Yep. Take the screws off. So yeah, so that's extruded aluminium. Yeah, that's where it'll go. Nice. This one was a bit hard. I'll have to take this out a little bit later. Just, it looks like that's how we do it. There you go. So yeah, it's actually a higher grade motherboard than a PC motherboard, but yeah, it's still got this steel plate on it, so I'll just put this in regular motherboards and be done with it. There's there's a few Gold Corner BGA, Gold Band crystal oscillators. This aluminium I'll just break out. The screw's a bit stubborn. Well, there you go. Well, now, yeah, so there's no more hard drives there. see if we can open up. There's definitely a board inside. Not really sure how to get through it. Okay, from the top. Wow. So a huge board here, but and a couple of bonus ram sticks. So yeah, that's always good. But yeah, this board is virtually blank, so it doesn't go as a high-grade board. Not here in Australia. This is a mid-grade board, or a peripheral board in the States, because it's virtually blank. Sure, there are BGAs under here, but for me, I'm not the type to try and squeeze a little bit extra value. You know, I'll give it to them what I'm sure of the grade is, and you know, good luck to them, because mostly all I can see here is fiberglass. So, you know, and a lot of screws. Okay. And a board that's going to be stubborn. Well, it's one way to get rid of something. Okay. And there we have it. So yeah, you know, you'd think, oh, well, it must be a server board or a telecom board. You know, you could try and get away with it, but geez, what's the buyer going to get? You know, it's all blank. BGA and BGA, that's it. I've seen much better, you know, just regular mid-grade boards and this sort of stuff. So they're just buying rubbish. So you can't. I wouldn't like, if someone brought this board for me to sell, I'd say, yep, it looks good, but it's mid-grade. Sorry. That's just how it is. You know, maybe I'm losing. Maybe my buyer would accept it. You know, and look, when I'm sending like high-grade boards, you know, server grade, telecom grade, you know, I'm sending like 300 or 400 kilos at a time. He's not going to go for every one. I can throw this in and yeah, it just looks like whatever, you know, his workers are just going to, yep, it's just another, you know, but nah, I'm not greedy. I'm happy for this to go as a mid-grade board. So, but a huge board, and we did get a very nice motherboard, even more bonus for him. A few hard drives, what, 4 RAMs or something, and a CPU. Not bad. So again, a backplane board that I'm certainly not going to work at to try and get. We'll just have a little look and see. It could be really, really simple. In that case, you know, if we can get something extra, great. But if not, that's fine too. Yeah. So yeah, just a very, very tiny little backplane board in there. I'm not going to bother with that. You know, it's all about time as well. There might be a power supply at the front. That's kind of backwards, the power supply at the front, the hard drive's at the back. Plastic. See what we got here. Fan module, just a nice chunky bit of scrap steel, and yeah, power supply, but it's not the type, it doesn't have gold fingers, so I'm not going to even bother taking it out. I'll just leave it in. I could take it out and, yeah, probably should get the low grade board, because I am buying low grade boards again and selling them, so okay, so here's our power supply, and we do get, most of the weight is in the actual board, so I will process that. But again, I'm not going to bother about the tiny little backplane board. It doesn't even have any chips on it anyway. And yeah, we're done here, guys. That's pretty awesome to me. Could always probably throw this front fan module back in. Just one more less piece of scrap steel got to handle. And there we have it. Well, there you go. That was the Cisco, what was it? Can't remember now. I lost my front cover. No, can't get to it. But that was a chunky, heavy Cisco. So, well, switch number 2 was pretty good. One of the biggest mid-grade boards you can get. You know, if it had more chips, great, but happy with it anyway. All right, let's move on and continue this scrap marathon and see what we come up with. Okay, so this one's a little IPEX LG Ericsson ES 3026P. Doesn't look like much. Yep, sure enough, not a great deal. Looks like just a couple of mid-grade boards, a low-grade board, and we're just about done. But, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, just got some nuts on risers here. Gonna have to get rid of them little brass nuts, little brass risers. Cool. Got a bit of brass to get rid of actually. There we go, just a mid-grade board, nothing spectacular. We'll take it. Best thing is probably the risers by weight, being brass. So next month, well, July, the start of July, I'll be taking in all my copper, brass, copper wire, and all that sort of stuff, lead. So it should be a pretty good payout. So looking forward to that one. I'll need that payout, that's for sure. Just clean up a bit of wire. Okay, Got to get our low grade board, clean off the wire, send it to low grade. Still getting reasonably amount of money for low grade these days. Obviously because of copper being so high. So, you know, it allows me to pay more for low grade to guys, and that's why I'm buying low grade again. Okay, well, that last video cut out for some reason. I didn't even notice it. But, you know, you got the gist of that. I think it was a juniper, maybe not. But what I got here is these are modules that come from in industrial eWaste pickups, a regular place. So these are tops of VSDs, variable speed drives, and these come on the top of them, and I got an impression that these burn out a lot quicker than the VSDs, because I get stacks of them. You know, I might pick up 20 or 30 at a time, whereas I might only get 1 or 2 VSDs. So you got your small ones. This module here would probably go on top of this one. This might be a little VSD, but it might be just another component on top of a massive VSD. It's really hard to say what's what, but you know, that's fine. So I thought I'd do a bit of this industrial stuff, bit of plastic, and yeah, just to break it up a bit and continue with the marathon, and yeah, and see what happens. Okay, so these things use a lot of Torx, a couple of different sizes usually, and then the bigger the VSD, the more intense. So here's a little module. I get a lot of these just loose like this. So yeah, mostly from this I'm getting scrap steel, I'm getting some circuit boards, low grade boards, and aluminium. They're pretty easy to scrap, to be honest, and you know, I kind of let them build up, which you know, because they're low priority. 95% of my eWaste collections are obviously IT equipment, so you know, that's what I focus on mostly. Bit of scrap steel. But yeah, you know, obviously I don't pass it up, because I do get a lot of good cast aluminium out of this, and some extruded, and so there is value there. And like this particular place that I pick up from, you know, I get a lot of copper wire, especially heavy gauge copper wire, so that's really good value for me. Also regular, you know, copper wire, but yeah, I do get a lot of really heavy stuff, and sometimes a pallet load of just wire, and you know, that's great. Okay, so you can see you got your extruded aluminium chunk here that will need to be eventually cut out of the steel. It's just using a large screwdriver and bashing it out, and it's done. Okay, so get this board out, and because I'm sending boards off, I need to get as many low-grade boards as I can. Just to get rid of them. But yeah, a little bit of everything, you know, good wire and things like that. Camera seems to be playing up as usual. These GoPros, you know, I used to recommend GoPros back in the day, but these days, they're just not that good. Unfortunately, these new models, they're just, they're really weird. All right. So, I've got a couple of extruded aluminium side panels here. They're not going to come out straight up. I've got a lot of screws. Okay, so we've got our low-grade board out, and this board here, sometimes I can get mid-grade for this particular board. It does have some kind of ICs, but generally a low-grade board. That's okay. Now, get these side panels. So yeah, pretty straightforward these, and they're a good thing to scrap when I just want to break from PCs and servers and stuff. So they're extruded aluminium, all good, and get rid of the screws. Fan module, okay. All we've got here is one of these blocks. I can't remember what they're called, but they do have very light gold, you know, flashing, I suppose. I don't bother with them, but as you can see here, we've got our nice extruded aluminium that needs to be removed off the plate. It's got four rivets in there. I just get a screwdriver and a hammer, bang it down and break off the rivets, and clean it up. And then this top part here, oh, wrong one. Remove our plastic. There we go. A little bit of ribbon wire in here. Cut that out. A bit of wire. This just goes to plastic recycling. And here's our board. And so basically this board here is half low grade, half mid grade. Even has a gold band crystal. And so get these brackets off. Show you what we do here. So here we've got, this is just aluminium. Yep, straight out. So I do get quite a bit of aluminium. Got extruded, the two plates, the block, the little bit. And so here, generally, if I got rid of this, it would still go as a low grade because it's got too much low grade here. So what I do with these is I cut each side, and then just got to go here and break it. And so now I've got a mid-grade board, okay, or a peripheral board, and I've got a low-grade board. Instead of selling it all as a low-grade, I can break off this good part. It doesn't have rubbish, doesn't have the transformers or anything like that. It's got these little things where you got the little gold balls in there. And that's the low grade with the transformers, the dead weight. All good. There you go. One of each. And then this part here that probably most likely sits on top of this part. Not a great deal to these, but you know, there is still some value here. Move these screws. Okay, in this case, this screw is going to be a bit of a pain. We'll see if we can break it out without, yeah, because one screw threaded. It happens quite often on these things. So we've got plastic side panels. Get rid of them because we do have a bit of aluminium in there, and yeah, so we'll see if we can remove. Okay, so we've got a lot of it removed, and this is the one where there's still a screw there. But we might be able to get this board. This is a complete mid-grade board. And here, this is just basically low grade. That's what I put them in. It's got aluminium on there. Depends on your buyer. Sometimes you can just leave the aluminium. Depends how much they're paying for low grade. But in this case, I mean, it ends up as irony aluminium. Some clips. Okay, so that's our low grade. Flatten it out. There's nothing I can make mid-grade of this, so just, you know, depends, you know, maybe your buyer will buy these sockets and that as mid-grade. You can break this off from this part. I just leave it as low grade. And this I just throw these into irony alley because it does have rivets, steel risers. I don't bother. Fold it up, put it into irony alley, and it makes the irony alley look good because 90, 95, 98% of the weight is aluminium anyway. This one here probably will be a bit of a hassle, so we'll see what we can do. Yeah, it's just one screw. Should be able to cut it out. There we go. So we've got a bit of scrap steel, and now we've got our board with a bit more scrap steel, but now we can get it out. Worst comes to worst, if too many screws are threaded, I just throw the whole thing into irony alley. Just try and clean it up, make it look like iron. But there we go. So we've got a nice mid-grade board here. Okay, so worth getting it out. And some scrap steel. A lot of screws. All right. Now we've got our sort of like main one, and these come in all different sizes. This is kind of like the smaller version. All this is all extruded aluminium. They get longer and longer and longer. The longer they are, the better they turn out to be. But first, get rid of this sort of part with the wire. They're usually got covers on them, but I just picked one out that happened to be like this. All right. But there is a lot of wire. It's quite heavy gauge, but they're very short wires, so they're not worth stripping or anything like that. All right, so we've got a top plate here. Okay, just comes off, scrap steel. And here's access to our really nice low-grade board, but it does have tiny little boards, little cards sort of stuck to them, and I break them off and throw them into mid-grade. They've got tantalum capacitors and stuff on there. Again, a lot of screws and a riser, long riser. All right. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, these wires are better than mid-grade, but I don't bother with them. I just throw them into mid-grade. They're good weight, so you know, you do get quite a lot. You know. Okay, a couple more. Bit of wire here. A bit of rubbish. Just cut the plug. And the other. All right. Now, let's get a few things out. So doing this kind of industrial stuff, you really need a good set of Torx. 2 or 3 actually. There's always losing Torx, especially the good old T10, the classic. But yeah, all right. So just got Torx on the ends here to undo the extruded aluminium side panel. Pretty easy. When you've got the right tools, all the jobs are easy, you know. And these panels, so they're, you know, nice, good, decent weight, good pieces, and they are extruded aluminium, as you can see. Other side. So that's already good value. We've got our low-grade board here. Okay, and so this is what I mean with the little mid-grade boards. They've got a couple of tantalums on each one. So I break these off. I just sort of jiggle them around. Might as well. Why throw it into low grade? Might as well, you know, they don't weigh much. So obviously it's not going to make might not even register on the scales, but you know, at least I tried. Okay, and then this one here, this one's a very brittle one. Kind of got to be careful. It's almost like glass, but again, you can see the tiny little IC chips on there. Yep, it's a mid-grade board, and the rest, that's a low-grade board. I don't bother with this one because it's really not much of a board anyway. Throw this to low grade, and there we go. So now we're just about done. I can take out my thingamajigger. Again, very light gold flashing. Again, I don't bother with it. More screws. So now we've got a nice chunky aluminium heatsink in a nice heavy steel casing. And these fans here, I'll just make sure before I talk about it. Yeah, so the fan casing is aluminium, cast aluminium. So I throw these into irony alley, dirty aluminium. You know, with the fan, the motor and all, because it's majority cast aluminium, and still, you know, again, we get good value. And that little plate that I showed you. So this is the base, and again, you probably got silver in these, you know, but very light gold flashing, you know, in the back. So I don't bother with them, but you know, some people might. Just get rid of a couple of risers. These are just always steel risers, and so because they're steel and you're unscrewing them out of aluminium, you got to unscrew them rather than breaking them off, because then you're just going to leave a little bit of steel in the aluminium, and if the scrapyard comes along with a magnet, you know, they might pick it off. Even though that didn't work, I'm not going to bother. Good luck to them. So there we go. Now here's our really nice heavy piece of scrap steel. So that's serious weight and very noisy. And here's our really nice chunk of technically it probably would go as extruded aluminium. Just depends on your yard. My particular yard, they want these as cast aluminium. It's all got to do with their baling system, the way these don't crush and bale very well. So, but I don't really care. It's not a great deal difference anyway. I get a lot of them, like I say, so it really adds up really quick. And so there we go. So we've got our big chunker, and this is just the start. I mean, they get a lot bigger than this. They get over 3 foot long, close to 4 foot long. And we're talking about serious weight. This one here, I have to clean off the back plate. I could throw into irony alley if I didn't want to, but it's just so easy to, you know, run the screwdriver there with the hammer and pop out these rivets, and it's done. So all good there. Low grade board here, a mid grade from the smaller stuff, another low grade, another one in low. Got these nice sheets of extruded aluminium, so that's good value there. Irony alley, and this one's clean, so it's just straight alley. And also the one I broke in half, low grade, mid grade, and all these little bits, and the fan. So there you go. I do a lot of these. They kind of get to me after a while. When I'm picking up, I pick up this kind of stuff probably every 3 months, and I get stacks of it. So you've probably seen me do picking up this kind of industrial stuff. So yeah, all good. All right, well, let's continue on with the marathon, see what else I can come up with. Okay, back to switches, a bit more reality for me. IT equipment loaded. So it's a Cisco Nexus 2148T. These silver Cisco switches, you know, like most of them are all blue, like you'd notice, but these ones are later model. Unfortunately, my buyer has totally changed up now, so I don't get much money at all. It's not even worth going to him anymore. My whole business has changed. But in America, these, if they're silver fronts and silver Cisco switches, you should be able to get pretty decent money still. So go for it. And there we go. Power supply nice and easy. Don't know if I'll bother trying to get out the low grade board out of that, but I might. Huge board. And yeah, obviously I can get away with this. You know, obviously I can put it into high grade board, telecom server grade board. Actually 2 power supplies. Yeah, I mean, beautiful because it's going to be such a simple scrap. And again, we got Phillips head screws, so it looks like Cisco may have switched from their flat blade to back to simple Phillips. Just makes everything so simple, you know. I'll get these screws out because sometimes if you don't take out the screws out of the sockets, they stick. So we want to make for a clean extraction. Everything else we could leave in, so long as it all comes out. Fan module. And there we have it. Don't have to do anything to this board aside from taking out the battery. Take off my gold band crystal oscillators, couple of them, 3. Nice, and that's high grade, server grade board, telecom board, whatever you want to call it. Basically server grade board. It wouldn't go, like in America, this wouldn't go necessarily as a telecom board. Maybe if you took off all the heat sinks, yeah, but here it's, you know, it's all the same anyway, and so therefore we can leave the heat sinks on here. But all this dead weight, all these ports, that's a lot of scrap steel, a lot of weight, but awesome. That's what we want, especially right now because I'm selling my boards through the week. That'll be the next video, and yeah, so That's fantastic. All right. And scrap steel to go. All right, that was as easy as it got. And so, geez, Cisco Nexus 2148T. I'd love a few hundred of these a week. It'd be awesome. Okay, well, I just did a pickup, and all it was just a bin. So I thought, well, might as well just go through what I picked up. And oh well, looks like a nice laptop straight from the top. i5 8th gen. Nice. All right. That kind of stuff we can, you know, probably resell. What I'm hoping I don't get is a printer or two in the bins, because these bins aren't designed for, I don't give them to clients to stuff anything they want. This is mostly for smalls, mostly cable. We do have an Apple. It's just a Apple monitor. So we don't really worry about monitors. Don't get much for them, if anything. Okay, well, that's a couple things out. Just a power supply for an Apple. What's this? Cisco, looks like a kind of like a Wi-Fi thing. Keyboard. All right, well, yep, this is pretty good so far. All I can see is cable. So, okay, all right. Well, they've done well by me so far. I'll just tip these. I'll process these a little bit later, obviously. What else we got? Okay, we're starting to get bigger things underneath, so let's get this cable out. All right. All right. Looks like we've got a Dell, nothing spectacular, i3. i3's a very low value here. Looked like about a 4th gen. Packaged stuff. I was going to say not totally exciting, but this is all shielded RAM. I dare say it's not going to be great RAM. 8 gig RAM, brand new. Whole bunch of shielded RAM. All right. I wish I didn't get so much packaging. A lot of rubbish to get rid of, but you can't complain. You get what you're given. Just headphone stuff. Rubbish. Yeah, this is just headphone things. A bit of cable. Rubbish. Oh, this is nice. More RAM. Well, there's a lot of the Dell blanks for servers, and these are 4 gig RAM sticks. So, oh well, at least we've got some RAM sticks. 4, 6, 8 regular RAM. Ah, I better get down here, eh? And 2 shielded 8 gig RAMs. Can't complain. Looks like a hard drive for a server. 4 terabyte, and she's brand new. So a 4 terabyte server hard drive. Still good for people that want storage, so might get some value out of that. It's just a kind of like a little inverter. We'll process that. Oh. Well, they're doing well. More RAM. Wow. It's all really old school, 1 and 2 gig RAMs, but that's great. That's just straight out cash. So we like that. I can see another big monitor in there. Another inverter and things. Just takes a little bit of time to process all that. But this client is not very far at all, so I'm there in no time. Looks like some kind of printer thing. Okay, more printer things, and yeah, so it started off really good. Cable, a couple of laptops, RAM. Looks like a toner cartridge and printer stuff. It's just rubbish. Yeah, and it doesn't get much better. Yeah, a big monitor. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I don't want in my bins normally. But what do you do? This is just a whole bunch of cables in packaging, so it does take time, low value, because if you consider time, looks like a faulty headset. Another monitor. Oh gosh. Oh well, it's better than nothing, hey. Looks like some more cables. There's 3. Cable. I just kind of got to watch out for the power supplies. See if I can match up the good laptop with one. Another HP Elite X2. Yeah, typical. Nothing in it, just one, bit of cable and just an empty box that I've got to dispose of. And the rest are just a few keyboards, bit of cable, couple of docks, and a modem. That's about it. No more RAM. Yeah, mostly cable and a few keyboards, power supplies. Oh well, there you go. Just lucky that this pickup is, this client is not so far away. It's like less than 10 minutes away. So I don't mind swapping over a bin. A lot of times I do get quite a lot of eWaste from them when they have a changeover of servers or PCs and especially laptops. Yeah, well, there you go. That's just a little job. And one bin full of stuff. At least I did get quite a lot of cable that you know, I get some value, and a lot of RAM actually. So you know, the contents of a few servers and a couple of PCs, so all good. Wonderful. All right, let's continue with this marathon. Okay, we've got a PC. Yay, PC. These are HP XW4600 workstations, old school Core 2 quads. Core 2 quads better than Core 2 Duo, but I picked up about 30 of these a little while ago, and these are great because they're good for a scrap. You know, obviously too old to sell, but mostly because they're a deep cavity. Because I do a lot of schools, I get the narrow PCs. These ones I can stuff a lot of, you know, plugs, screws, all kinds of stuff in there before I send it off to the scrapyard. So yeah, these, all I do with these, I only scrap them out when I've built up a couple of little buckets of stuff, scrap to throw in. And in between, obviously, I'm doing everything else. But, you know, standard PC setup, a large motherboard, and a couple of hard drives in each one, a little card. So it's got pretty much everything you would expect. And, yeah, it was a little NVIDIA card. This one was actually a good pickup because it not only, there was like 30 of them all stacked up ready to go, but when I got there, you know, everything was loaded up, stacked up, ready for me to load up, and I virtually parked right next to the PCs, and away I went. And there was even a guy there unloading or handing me these PCs as I was loading them into the van, stacking them in. So made for a really easy job. It was just not very far at all, about 12-minute drive. So it was fantastic. These are the type of pickups I like, when it's all uniform stuff and not dragging out printers and junk, and just, yeah, take it away straight into the van, straight back, and stack them up. And they've even got pretty good power supplies. So these power supplies I scrap out completely and get the low grade board out of there, and obviously all the nice cable. So you do get some good value. There's always 2 hard drives in each one. Can't complain with that. They're just a bit of everything. And so, yeah, great scraps, and in the end, a great cavity for me to load up with junk. So, because I have got a bit of junk to throw in, I thought I'll just get one of these out the way right now. And these heat sinks, they are a copper aluminium radiator, but there is quite a bit of work to get everything out. But if you want to spend the time, otherwise throw it into Iron Alley. But you know, you do get much more value if you clean it all up as a copper alley radiator. Yeah. That's it. How quick and easy is that? So, you know, because I picked up 30, I could have done all these, you know, in a good day, you know. But I much rather stagger them as I need one. I'll do it. Get the battery out. And, well, they're pretty standard. Usually 2 to 3 RAM sticks in each one. Okay, so they're 4 gigabyte RAM sticks. And standard CPU. And that's it. And we've got a really nice, big, weighty motherboard. So, you know, we're getting good value there. Better than the school ones because they're only a lot smaller PC. They're very thin and the motherboards aren't really that big. But that's it. So, you know, we've got a motherboard, a power supply that I'm going to scrap out. We've got cable and we've got the PCI card. I just need to, when they've got fans, to sell PCI cards either to me or when I sell to my buyer, I've got to take out the fans and we've got a nice clean PCI card, you know, and 2 hard drives. Can't complain about that. All I do with these, I just take off the little bit of wire and this, the whole thing, I'll just throw it into Iron Alley and be done with it. And that's it. How's that? It's as quick as it gets, and look at that big hole that I can fill up with all kinds of scrap, and we move on. All right. Okay, well, here we got all-in-one IBM Think Center. I got a whole bunch of these from a pickup quite recently, and normally I only get 1 or 2 here and there of these, but yeah, I got stacks of them, and they're super heavy. Sorry, they're not IBM Think Center, they're Lenovo Think Center. Don't know what I was thinking, but they're really heavy buggers. Right, so when you're picking up a whole bunch of them, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff, yeah, it's quite hard, you know, yakka. You know, it's quite a bit of a job, and you really feel it at the end of the job. So one of the main things that's really heavy is the base. They just put a ginormous base on it, and so straight up we can get rid of that. And I'll tell you, it's a decent weight, and I can throw this into scrap steel. It's mostly metal and plastic and whatever. Yeah, so that gets rid of a whole lot. But this is, you know, like I said, it's an all-in-one. So it's, you know, basically a computer and monitor all-in-one. The only thing missing is the keyboard and mouse. But they're quite simple, or reasonably simple to scrap, and so I don't think there's any screws to them. Just need sometimes when you're scrapping stuff, you need 3 hands as opposed to 2. Okay. So even though, you know, it's plastic, but it's got this huge steel plate. So if I leave the steel plate on it, I can still get away with it being pressing steel here. Because with pressing steel, we're paying a rubbish tax anyway. Better get down. Yeah, so, you know, a bit of rubbish, well, I make sure I put a bit of rubbish, you know, like with the pressing steel, just to balance it out, you know. So when I'm throwing in my plugs, that's probably the main reason. Plastic on its own, obviously, just goes to plastic recycling. We don't throw in plastic, but let me get a few things out, and you can get a better look at what we've got going. Again, plastic with steel. Plastic. Sorry, pressing. And this is actually cast aluminium. So just got one screw and it's all clean cast aluminium. So good value there just on its own. And as you can see, so we've got a full-size hard drive, power supply here, a motherboard, 2 little RAM sticks, more plastic, quite a big heat sink going over the CPU. So it's all pretty cool. Don't mind these at all. And yeah, like I said, they're heavy to handle when you're getting a lot of them, but I know that there's good value here, just like any PC, I suppose. So I'll just undo a whole bunch of screws. We only want the main bits, obviously. See if we can get the hard drive. There we go. So they're pretty old school. So what's this? 320 gigabyte. I mean, gosh. So just shows how old these are. Surprised that I actually, that the people had these for me to pick up still, because these would have been taken off the out of the scene probably 6-7 years ago. Even then they wouldn't have been of any much use, so no point in taking off anything here. All I want now is just a motherboard. So yeah, really basics to scrap, so that's really good. I like basic scrap. And obviously there's going to be wire running through and about. You can take some wire. Obviously we don't want to leave any real value, but I'm not particularly fussed on getting too much out of it. There's it's actually a copper aluminium radiator. Still got to clean it up a little bit, take a bit of steel off, but yeah, should get copper alley radiator for it. All right. Okay, looks like I've got to take off this part here to get to the motherboard. Show you. Okay, there's a little board here as well. I'll clean out. Still get mid-grade for it. It's got some IC chips on it. Okay, get the battery out. 2 little RAM sticks. I dare say they, yep, I was just about to say that, oh no, I don't even know what size they are, but they're not even going to be barely 1 gigabyte. I reckon they're 520s. So just scrap RAM, old school CPU. There we go. And just a little motherboard, nothing spectacular. but it's still a motherboard, so hey. And then, well, apart from any wire that I can easily cut out, like I said, there's no point in going too hard. And the power supply, I'm not even going to bother taking the power supply out. I'll just leave it there as part of whatever I decide to get rid of them as. I've done a couple since I've picked them up, but there's quite a lot in the garage that I need to get. So, well, getting one done now. So, technically, it's still eWaste, even though it doesn't have the circuit board. Power supply, CD drive, little board here. I'll see if it's worth it. If it comes easy. Nah, I'm not going to worry about it. Try this one. Yeah, this one comes just a little mid-grade. I mean, it's a couple of cents, a few cents worth of value there. But yeah, well, hey, hard drive, little motherboard, some wire, 2 RAM sticks, just laptop size RAM sticks, copper LED radiator once I clean out the steel, and yeah, some fans that yeah, they're aluminium tops, so I might just throw these into iron alley. Actually, I'm just going to throw these into scrap steel, not try and get any more value out of it. I've got the main things, and we still get value out of this by sending it off as e-waste, still getting 20 cents a kilo, and it's still quite a bit of weight, and obviously the stand that I took off and the backing plate, scrap steel. So that was a good one. That's okay. Hey. Okay, next thing is it's an LG Ericsson PoE switch, PABX PoE. Looks like a smaller size board, nothing overly dramatic. It's just another item that needs to go. Yeah, so looks like it's only going to be a couple of mid-grade boards here, and a low-grade board. You just don't know what you're going to get when you pick them up, what's inside them, you know. But hey, you know, you take them, you know, geez, no problem. We get what we get. For me, it's mostly just about getting rid of volume, and I'm happy either way, whether there's a your low grade board, mid grade boards, or a super high grade board. You know, just you know, I think I might have just done one of these at the start of the video. It feels very similar. Okay. So yeah, mid. Oh well. As long as they're quick, not too much hassle. So there's a low grade that'll clean the wires off, throw it in low grade. Still get pretty good value these days for low grade, because you know, copper is a really good price. My buyer adjusted his buy prices, and so that's why I'm buying low grade boards again, because he's made it worthwhile for me to handle low grade boards. So yeah, helping a lot of scrappers out, because a lot of my scrappers that come to me selling boards is some nice brass. They do accumulate a lot of low grade boards, so at least they've got a place to sell, as opposed to selling them at a scrapyard for 20 cents a kilo. At least they're getting more than double that from me, and it just helps everyone out. And there we go. It's just a low-grade board. A mid-grade board here. Some places, because they're switchboards, they might get a higher grade, but really I can't see any real value here because of so much dead weight. So I do have a gold band crystal oscillator I can pinch for myself and get some extra value for me. So yeah, mid-grade, another mid-grade here, and this is just a low grade, and a decent low grade with some wire I can get off it as well. There's another brass, and I'm done with this one as well. It's another item scrapped. I've got so many switches. The more the better. I'm just happy for them to just keep getting out, because I'm getting, the garage is amazing. I'm still updating the video on the garage clean out, and yeah, it's starting to look amazing. I just got more, a few more things to scrap out of there and clean up and get rid of some rubbish, and that garage clean out video will come out soon, I suppose, in another, I don't know, just depends how I go, another week or so. And then I want to start doing the military box clean openings, and if my garage is clean, I can actually have somewhere to store the stuff temporarily till I sort out what's what and work it all out. So there you go. Okay, so this, well, it's a fully loaded switch. So it's a Dell EMC, blah blah blah. Yeah, don't often get too many Dell switches. They're mostly Cisco. I've got a mega stack, but they all look like they're kind of the same model. Just a power supply. Take out the low grade board, and that is just a fan module with nothing on it. Just throw that into scrap. All right, nice scrap steel. Yeah, okay. I've definitely done quite a few of these. Don't know why I thought this was different. Oh well, I'm here now. Just do the screws. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've definitely done one of these as well. Might do some Ciscos to ensure that I'm breaking the scrap up. Yeah, there we go. Apart from the wire, just another mid-grade board. Yeah, and this board here, once I take off the heat sinks, we should get away with this being a higher grade board than or a high grade board rather than a mid grade board. Pretty sure these are steel. Yeah, just steel risers. But I've done quite a lot of these in the last month or so, so it's almost automatic. This is a nothing board, nothing on one side, nothing on the other side apart from these empty ports. So it's just scrap metal. It's not even a low-grade board. The whole lot needs to be undone. Been there and done that. Pretty much every screw you see on this thing needs to go. At least there it's reasonably quick. So just clean up these extruded aluminium heat sinks. Second one, standard. Even that one's already cleaned for me. Just got to get rid of this rubber rubbish. There we go. And yeah, there's probably another screw under here. Little mid-grade board. Couple more screws. All right. Whoa. Just a basic mid-grade board, barely. And a couple more risers. Okay, so just get this rubber off, clean it up, and there we go. So we can get high grade board out of this, because even though it's got double the dead weight as the other one did, it's still a decent board. We've got all BGAs, and so yeah, we can get away with this one being a high grade board, where the other one, this one, it's not here in Australia. It's a mid-grade board. I'm not going to try and rip off my buyer. This one he can have as high grade. There we go. Well, there we are. 3 quick items, and yeah, I think I still got enough battery for another quick one and keep this marathon screaming along. Okay, this is kind of like an old school point of sale machine. H&L Exceed, probably a generic brand, not sure. I used to pick up hundreds of these. I don't have that client anymore, but I found a few of these still in the garage. Part of the cleanup, there's always going to be stuff that you forgot completely about. So there's 2 versions of these old school. One is with the plastic back, and one was with a cast iron back. So this one's plastic back, so a little bit less value there in the back. Yeah, pretty sure. Oh no, I was wrong. It just looked totally like plastic, but there you go. It's cast iron, right? Cool. You know, that's good value just for this big piece of cast iron. It's just a back, but look at this. Hey, can you get any more basic than that? That's the main board. Look how small it is. It's only a mid-grade board, and then you got this little board here for probably the video. I don't know. So obviously they connect to like a server or a computer system or something, because there's nothing here for it to actually know what it's doing. But hey, like I said, I've done hundreds of these. This was probably the most basic version of them all. Modern ones are a lot better, because they come more complete. They're more of a computer, so they've got the motherboard, they've got hard drive, RAM. Gosh, but no doubt they would have charged an arm and a leg. Oh, it's a point of sale, you know. It's, you know, look at that little board, eh? Probably would have cost 50 cents to make. And the main board, just got to break off the, as you can see, it's VGA, so that just shows how old school it is, because the new ones obviously are the new style video. So that's it, it's just a mid-grade board, barely worth scrapping, and we still got a monitor. Now, you know, they'll still get some value out of the screen, you know, they get their real oddball metals, whatever they get, I can't remember, not even worth talking about really. It's for real big time recyclers, but I can still get away with it as going as e-waste, so because that's what it is. And yeah, mostly scrap metal, you know, there's not really sure what's underneath. I'm not going to bother because there's no main board here, there's no connections, no ports, no nothing. All right, well, there we go. Well, I only have a few of these left, so good riddance to them. And I doubt I'll be getting many more because, yeah, I had a really big client with all the point of sales I used to get. Hundreds of them each time I picked up, like full loads. But they went to another client, a big company, because they wanted certification and data destruction, you know, certificates and stuff, you know, with all the data of every hard drive that they got destroyed and all that kind of thing. So, nah, good luck to them. Oh well, you know, you win some, you lose some, and I was loyal to them, and in the end, you know, they weren't loyal to me, and that's how a lot of business is, you know, but that's how it goes, guys. Anyway, I'm slowing down anyway, so it's probably a good thing, because low value, even the better ones, a lot of work, a lot of heavy work for what they are. Anyway, so that's that one. All right. Well, how are we going? We're probably over an hour now, probably an hour and 20 minutes in. What do you reckon? That's just my, you know, I have no idea, but that's my feeling. No, I'm going to still go. Bugger it. Let's make this a real marathon. So we'll continue on. All right. Next up is another Juniper switch, full size. What's this? The EX2200. Well, it's pretty much exactly the same as all the ones, except it's bigger, but nothing really different. It's just the same thing, same board, except it's longer. Oh well. Hey. Well, I'm going to do Cisco's next. See if we can get some different ones. But that's the thing, you know. You just don't know what you're picking up. You just got to do it. Get rid of it. And you know, in my scrap marathons, I prefer to do a different thing each time. But I mean, it is different, but it's kind of the same. So, well, it is different. So these boards are different. They look the same on the back, but, you know, still a nice long mid-grade board. And the board is, you know, really nice long, except it does have all these heat sinks. To make this into a high-grade board, I've got to take a lot of the heat sinks off. They're not going to pay high grade, you know, for a lot of aluminium. So, all right, well, we've got some brass risers. That's nice, 7 of them. Yeah, can't complain. And like I've mentioned, when I'm doing these scrap marathons or any video, I've only kind of got a short window of time because it's all about the sunlight, and the videos just don't come up well certain times of the day, like from morning to early afternoon, because sunlight comes in and it's all patchy, and yeah, it just doesn't look good at all. So yeah, unfortunately, you know, when I'm doing videos, it's usually towards the end of the day. I'm either exhausted because I've done a lot of scrapping, and so you might see me change t-shirts through a long video, a marathon, because yeah, it's a different day. You know, once it starts getting a little bit dark, then again it's a lighting problem because you don't get to see much, and I've got to do other things like prepare dinner and stuff like that, you know. And so that's just how it is. I mean, most people on YouTube don't set out to make a 2-hour video or anything like that, you know. So so it's a power supply. Obviously it's a nice big low grade board, so I'm going to take this out of the steel, and yeah, we'll get pretty good value for that one. Yeah, so my 2-hour video, a scrap marathon, could take me, you know, 4 or 5 days, even longer. It depends if I'm doing pickups and stuff like that, and then, you know, unloading the van, just too tired to start the process of making a video or scrapping anything. So like I said, a lot of my processing is done in the morning. And there we have it. So that's our scrap steel. But yeah, as I said, to get this to, it is going to be a high grade board. It does have a lot of dead weight, but we've got to get rid of some of these heat sinks. It's just too many. Otherwise it would be, I would call this a mid-grade board. So sometimes, you know, and when you're still getting extruded aluminium for the heat sinks, so you're not losing much. But sometimes when you're taking off the heat sinks, it actually takes off the chips as well, and that's not a good thing, okay? Because you're back to the same situation. In this case, it's not so bad. We're not losing ICs, so I can leave a few, but you know, you just got to make it look like a high grade board. Otherwise, you know, I'm pretty sure in most buyers in America want all the heat sinks off, you know, and it's fair enough. If they're going to pay top dollar for the board, they're already buying a whole lot of rubbish, you know. Aluminium is you know, worth a third of what the board, what they would be paying. So in this case, I'll just take them all off, right? Take the little pins out, and we've got clean extruded aluminium. Still getting actually really good money for them at the moment. So now we've got a high grade board, no questions asked. So there you go. All right, well, that's another item. So what next? I think I might do some Cisco's. Yeah, I'll pick out 3 or 4 different models, finish off the video, might do another server, I don't know, we'll see how we go. But right now I've got to go in and got to clean up this. I've actually got to clean up this whole table of all this mess. I'm constantly cleaning it up and stuff, but I want to empty it because I'm removing things from the garage that I want to take pictures of and sell. And then when I start doing the military box unopenings, I'm going to need this whole table space, and even behind here I've got to clean up all this so I can start stacking a few things temporarily until I, you know, start moving them into the garage. But yeah, straight after this video, it's back to the garage, and I'll give you a little look, hey? Yeah, just to show that I'm not talking rubbish, and I actually am working on the garage. As you can see, we've got some things in the middle here that I'll be working on straight after the video, but you know, a lot of things are gone. Filing cabinets, table, stuff from inside the cabinets. It's all coming together unbelievably, right? Got a bit of mess, had a bit of a eWaste fall, so I got junk sort of falling over the place there, but we're looking really good. So just a quick sneak peek. It's all in the video coming up of the garage clean out, and hopefully that comes out in a couple of weeks, which means in a couple of weeks this is going to be fully cleaned out, swept out, and ready to go for stockpiling whatever's in the military boxes. Okay, well, I've got another switch, but before I do the switch, a scrapper dropped off one of these when he was selling me boards, and it's a military thing. It's an assistant gunner's display. So yeah, you got a gunner that's got a display, I don't know, to point where he's going to shoot. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, typical military connection there. Yeah, assistant gunner's display. General Dynamics, Canada. Well, we might as well open it up and have a look. Something a little bit different. It's just been sitting on my bench, so... Obviously made of cast aluminium by the looks. Alright. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a display, so I dare say there's probably not going to be a great deal to it. But yeah, just got to get this Velcro off. Looks like it's reasonably old. Well used. Alright. Boy, they certainly stuck the Velcro on. Okay, now I might just put it on the ground and give it a bit of a crack. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get it open, really. There is a nut here. Okay, well, at least that came undone. Obviously, being anything military, it's quite, you know, precision screws and all that, you know, they, yeah. All right, let me put it on the ground and give it a bit of a tap with the hammer. Okay, just got the glue I'm going to get through. Okay, wow, there you go. Just cast aluminium, almost looks like it's silver plated inside. I doubt it, because aluminium doesn't rust anyway, but it's got some kind of coating on it, and there we have it. So just a regular basic board. You know, it's yeah, interesting. All right. Okay, it's got a couple of boards. Just a spacer in between. And yeah, so that's the first board. Some MLCCs on the back. I dare say they'd be the good ones. But yeah, pretty much a mid-grade board. Interesting. And they're kind of like you know, all the chips have been put on the board and then they're kind of lacquered. So no doubt, you know, military style protection on the board, probably waterproofing. And another one. Some of these screws just too tight. Yeah, and it's you can see the O-ring seal, which is another typical thing from military. So 100% waterproofing. It's just another board there, and this will be the board for the actual LCD screen. But I can't get all the screws out, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that, because the other side there'll be nothing, just the screen part. So that's a third board, would have been okay. I might pinch these chips since they're military, have a little look at one. All right, so it's a, you know, regular chip. It just got that kind of clear lacquer over the top. I'm gonna crack it open. Yeah, no real visible gold or anything like that, you know, nothing over the top. But there we go, a military gunner's, what is it, assistant gunner's display. So that's for the assistant gunner. Maybe the front gunner, the gunner in charge, probably has even a bigger display. But yeah, still, you know, a couple of nice mid-grade boards. And yeah, quite interesting. Oh well, it was there. The scrapper gave it to me, you know, just said, oh, it's, you know, just something to scrap that's a little bit different. And yeah, that sure was. Beautiful machining of, you know, this case, even the spacer, you know, it's all precision stuff, and they don't muck around. All right, well, I have a switch as well. This one is it's a Cisco. Very different model, kind of an in-between model by the looks of it. But it looks different. Let me just adjust the camera, it's a bit too focused in. We'll do it again. Okay, well, the back is a little bit strange, considering there's that's where a power supply would have went. Got a couple of fan modules, nothing much to that. And yeah, I dare say I'm going to have to, there's tiny little screws here, so let me get rid of them as well. Okay, it's always the tricky little screws at the back that you're wondering why the board won't come out. So let's have a look at this Cisco. Okay, yeah. Nothing overly spectacular. It does have a high grade board at least. Once we remove the heats, these big heat sinks. Okay. Just one more screw under here. Don't know how to get to it. There's maybe. Side screws, of course. Whoa. There goes the camera. Probably way out of focus now. This board. Just a little tiny little mid-grade board, not much to with that one. Alright, power supply. Got to come out. I'll take out the low-grade board out of that. And now, what little tricks have they got for me? Another low-grade board. At least we've got some bonus fingers we can cut out. And yeah. Fix that. Just a low-grade, bonus fingers. All right. Two risers. And there we have it. So obviously, for it to be a high grade board, because it does have so many blank spots where BGAs could have been, so it's not that spectacular. Even one of the main ones, it's not there, just different configurations. Okay, some nice extruded aluminium heat sinks. All right. So now we've got a high grade board because we've exposed 3 good BGAs. It looks like I've kind of partially depopulated, removed the main BGA, but as you can see, it's not the case. High grade board. That's all you can ask for from a Switch. Is a high grade board. You know, a lot of times they're mid grade, so, or you know, once again, when I say mid grade, in the States, it's a mid grade is, what I mean by mid grade is usually a peripheral board in the States, and a mid grade is a higher low grade here in Australia. Yeah, so there's good little gold pins in that from that military thing as well, but they're going to be quite complicated to get out. They're only very thin ones, but there you go. That was a different Cisco. Alrighty, another Cisco, nice full size one again. Catalyst 3560G, the PoE thing. We'll check it out. Oh, much bigger board, but again, a lot of heat sinks. So fortunately, we've got to remove most. All right, power supply. Screws everywhere. There we go. Really nice chunky power supply there. This little board here. So this is probably what they would call a mid-grade in America. So here it's a, you know, it is a better high grade, or sorry, a better low grade. So I can understand why they call these mid-grades and your brown boards and the junky low grades low grade. But here they all go into low grade, but this little board here would be a peripheral board, or here a mid-grade. So it's a bit confusing, but so I take this little bit off. It's not much, but it goes as a mid-grade. Why throw it in low? And that I throw all in low grade. All right. So, bit of plastic. Yeah, we'll make a good high grade board out of this one. All right. So probably, well, at least the bigger heat sinks. So I'll just take one off for now and show you. So there we go. Beautiful gold band BGA, or gold cornered BGA, and extruded. So yeah, in this case, all I'll probably have to do is just remove these the bigger heat sinks. Okay, so obviously this gold corner BGA is a little bit different. It's got the copper top as opposed to this one's just plastic. So by weight, these are worth a lot more than these. A lot more, because yeah, there's a lot less gold in these copper top ones than these ones. But that's all I'll do with it, and really nice. Got the dead weight that we want on a high grade board, so we get good weight for it, good money. So there you go. And I've got quite a big stack of this model, so yay for me. All right, well, that's another one done. And yeah, I'm just going to have to go through the motions and do as many as I can before I get onto stacks of PCs that I need to do, mostly from schools. But that was good. That was done. Great. All right. Well, I'll clean up this board. Got me low grade, and that was from the other Cisco switch. As you can see, it's a lot lower grade than this one, but it's still a high grade, so it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. I reckon I'm getting close to 2 hours. Probably just under, so I think that'll do. It's going to take me quite a while to edit the video, cut out little bits and pieces. There's probably 2.5 hours of video, maybe 3. So yeah, I've got to spend quite a lot of time doing that, but yeah, it's all part of the fun. I don't mind doing it. It just gives me something else to do. And yeah, you know, hope that was a bit of a bit of fun, and it might even be the last marathon I do for quite a while. We'll just see how we go with pickups and stuff, and what else I'm doing. But now, yeah, the next video, I'm just going to do the garage like you saw. Just got to focus on that. It's sort of holding me back, but yeah, once we get that done, then I can sort of really start moving along other things that I want to do, and take me, you know, all the storage stuff out and just organize it, see what's there. Probably, I reckon 70% of it's just going to be junked, and I'm going to think, why did I even bother keeping it? But, you know, I just kept so many things. So anyway, guys, keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you really soon.